Hey everyone, welcome back to Chess on Ice and my World Curling Power Rankings. This is the second time I've done this. Started this last week. It's where I'm going to look at the top 10 teams on both the men's and women's sides in international curling. Now, last week I gave a pretty detailed explanation, not that detailed, but I gave a longer explanation of how I rank these teams. The short version is that this is more like I'm putting together a ballot for a top 25 poll in college football, something like that, rather than me ranking who I think the 10 best teams in the world are. So, what we're really talking about is how well have you done lately? How strong do you seem overall? How strong has your season been? So, it's both results based, but with some consideration of how strong these teams are generally expected to be as well. So without further ado, a lot of the top teams in the world were in action last weekend. Let's see how that shakes up the rankings heading into this week's lists. So starting with the men this week, my new number one team is the Yannick Schwaller rank at 20-4 on the season. They picked up their second straight tournament win this weekend. They won the Shorty Jenkins Classic, a very strong field, as you'll see. A lot of the teams on this list participated there. Definitely worthy of ascending to the number one rank. And they beat Bruce Mowat, who I have at number two, a 24-4 record this year, in the final. Mowat's rank still up to an amazing start, but given that Schwaller beat them head-to-head this week and is coming off two victories in a row, I felt Schwaller had to move up to number one. I have Joel Raz as the number three team in the world, poised for another big year, the Italian rink. They were semifinalists at the Shorty Jenkins Classic, so a great week for them. We got Brad Gushu in fourth, Ross White, who was a quarterfinalist at the Shorty Jenkins this weekend, in fifth, Mike McEwen, Kevin Cooey, Nicholas Adine down in eighth. Adine 11-6 on the year so far, only went 2-3 at the Shorty Jenkins Classic. Yet to have a really big result, but still hanging on to the a top 10 spot here. Based on what we know of that team and what they're capable of, and the fact that they have put together a solid start, just not one that is up to their normal standard. Mark Mustakowicz is at number 9 for me on the men's side. This German rink, 18-7 in the year, went 3-2 at the Shorty Jenkins. Just continuing what has just been a solid start, playing well in big events. And finally at number 10, Marco Hasley, who also went 3-2 at the Shorty Jenkins, also off to a good start. As I said last week, those two teams that I have at 9 and 10 here, probably two of the best teams you don't know that much about unless you really follow curling closely. Two teams to definitely watch at the European Championships and potentially at Worlds this year or at Grand Slams later in the season. Honorable mentions, we've got the Dunstone Carruthers rings, Asselin, McDonald, Abe, and the Jacobs rink yet to play this week. I should say yet to play, but will be playing this coming weekend. So that'll pretty much take care of the very, very elite teams that haven't gotten off to a start in their season yet. On the women's side, Rachel Homan and her rank moved to the number one spot after going up perfect 7-0 at the Shorty Jenkins Classic. Look, what else is new? They're coming off an historically great season. Going 7-0 to start the year wasn't guaranteed, but is not going to shock anyone, and they could be off to the races again. At number 2, I have the other undefeated elite team in women's curling right now, the Anna Hasselborg rank. They started 7-0 with an early win as well, but this past weekend they had to play a European qualifier for Sweden against the Rana rink, and they beat them 4-0 in a straight sweep. To do that to another team that is widely considered a top 10, maybe top 15 team in the world is a monstrous result. They definitely belong up here. You could have argued to keep them at number 1 even. I figured Homan, based on what they did, has to be number 1 but until they lose a game at the very least. So I have Hasselborg at number 2. Silvana Tiranzoni had her first event of the week, of the season, I should say, this past weekend. Went 6-2 at the Shorty Jenkins Classic. Only lost in the final on a steal to the Homan rink. And I am sure that's going to be the first of many battles this season between those two titans of women's curling. They are almost certainly the two best teams in the world over the last few years, particularly last season. And, I doubt any of the three teams I've mentioned so far are ever going to be off this top 10 list and may well be in the top three for a very long time. Momoha Tabata did not play but stays in at number 4. Satsuki Fujisawa did reach the semis of Shorty Jenkins, lost a tight one to Tiranzoni. Definitely a good enough result to keep her at number 5. Kayla Skrillik continues to have a great start to the year. Also reached semifinals at the Shorty Jenkins. Went 4-2 overall in that event. Eunji Kim continues to put up solid performances after winning the Korean national title earlier in the season. 22-9 at the year. Made the quarterfinals to Shorty Jenkins. Xenia Schwaller comes in for me at number 8. Only went 2-3 at the Shorty Jenkins Classic, but still definitely worthy of staying on this list, especially because they just came off winning an event the week before. We're not going to forget that too soon. Caitlin Laws and Carrie Einerson round out my top 10. Honorable mentions include Yoshimura, Macmillan, Kim, St. George, and Morrison. The one very notable team yet to play is Chelsea Carey's team, also in action this weekend. So again, we should be able to eliminate that yet to play designation, because those are really the only teams that might be in the top 10 right now if they had been on tour already. All right, hope you enjoyed the latest power rankings from the world of curling. If you got your own top 10 or think someone should be on the list who isn't, leave a comment below, let me know. If you enjoyed the video, like it, subscribe to the channel. I put out a lot of content, both news related and strategy related, for the sport of curling, and I'll be doing it all season long. So stay with us, and I'll be back next Thursday with the next edition of these curling power rankings. Until then, thanks for watching, and good curling.